All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. For those watching the recording, you can skip ahead to 3-4 minutes. We're gonna wait for everybody to come in so we can start at the same time. For whoever isn't here, let me know if you can hear me. Hey, welcome, Jack. Hey, Guy. At first, I thought your username said Guy in Israel. I'm like, that is very specific. Let me know if you guys can see my chart. There's a black screen. It's weird. Let's try again. Is anything else open that can cause that? Is it still a black screen, or can you see my chart now? Still a black screen. That's weird. What can be causing that? It was working. There we go. Now you should be able to see my screen and my chart. Yeah, I'm like, this is working like 5 minutes before we started, so it can't like unwork. Excellent. All right, let's move this here so I can see your questions. As a reminder, since I have these free classes, all I ask for you guys is to hit the little like button so the algorithm can be like, cool, people like this. Let's show him more. All right, we have a good amount of people in here. Welcome, everybody. My name is Advent, or Desi, depending where you know me from. I am a life coach and a traders coach. For those who are new to the channel, I pretty much like to focus on the psychology portion of trading and the system building, while I do also teach strategy and how to trade. My main focus is the psychological portion. For those who are new to these classes, the Let's Learn series, we have it every third weekend of the month, usually on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Sometimes we'll do it on Sunday instead, but I'll let you guys know ahead of time. This is pretty much, you ask me whatever you want, whatever you're struggling with, whatever you want to learn, basically anything. I've been trading for almost 5 years now. It'll be 5 years and 2 more months. I've traded it all: crypto, futures, options, regular stock, penny stocks, Forex, all that good stuff. So whatever you want to ask me, I'm all ears. You can put it in the chat and we'll go from there. There is no stupid question. I've experienced a lot. People that I've worked with have experienced a lot. I've seen a lot. So don't feel embarrassed for whatever question you may have. We're all here to learn together and improve. So whatever question you have, put it in the chat and we'll talk about it. Somebody did mention on the questionnaire that they wanted to go over how to set up the graph. I'm assuming they're new since they're using the term graph. Symbols and EMAs, trends, etc. Whoever did ask that question, if you are in here, definitely let me know so I can get a little more clarity, because I would need a little more direction. Oh, excellent. Hey, Justin. So Justin, I'm going to imagine that let's say like how my chart is right now, right? Your question is essentially like how to set it up, like how to add indicators and things like that. Pretty straightforward. If you're using, so what platform are you using? Are you using TradingView or are you using something else, like another platform? If you're using TradingView, it'll be much easier since that's what we're using today. TradingView, cool. I highly recommend you go to my playlists on the YouTube channel. There's a video for TradingView 2024 that I made, how to set it up and go over all the features, or most of the features anyway. But on a basic level, on the top bar right over here, and I'm using the desktop version. This isn't the browser version. So, but it should be the exact same thing. On the top bar, it's gonna say indicators. So from there, you're gonna hit indicators and you're just gonna search for whatever you want. So let's say if you want EMA, and there'll be a bunch of different ones. I think the first one should be good enough. I haven't used EMAs in like 3 years, so I don't remember much about them. But this is the EMA. Right now it's set to 9. So if I wanted to make it, let's say, an 8 EMA, I just switch to 8, hit OK, and now it's tracking the 8 EMA. And then, of course, you can double it up. So let's go back to that EMA indicator, and let's hit settings. Let's put 20. And then some of them allow you to change the colors too. So now I have both of these. I have the 20 and the 8 on the chart. I know there was like a simple strategy. I don't know if it works or not anymore, but they call it EMA crossover. So like if the 8 crosses below the 20, then you go short, and vice versa, you go long. In my opinion, there are much more efficient strategies, but you know, something to look into if you want, even though I'm against indicators if you're new. Let's see, what else? Setting up your chart, when you say trends and things like that, that's more so like technical analysis, like really understanding the charts. Is there anybody in here who's been trading for more than a year? Or more than a few months and understands market trends, like bullish and bearish trends and sideways trends, things like that? Cool. All right, here's a little, and this for anybody really. Market structure basics. So we have a higher high, higher low, lower high, and a lower low. Let's mark off some levels. Or let me get my box out rather. So we'll just label this as a high. Let me change the color so we can see a little better. So we have a high. Then here we have a lower high. And then this box right here would be a, oops, have a lower low. Let's move this a little lower. Then let's copy that. There's another lower high and another lower low. So basically, right now, what would you call this type of market? Is it a bullish market? Is it a bearish market? Or is it a sideways market or choppy market? Bearish? Cool. That's basically market structure, right? You don't need to overcomplicate it. If price is making lower highs or lower lows, we're bearish. If it's making higher highs and higher lows, we're bullish, right? And this is just a 15-minute for, like, you know, if you're trading intraday or day trading. Now, you can find out what the trend might be. Let's say you're looking at the 4-hour. Looks like the 4-hour was trending to the downside, kind of consolidated a bit, and then it broke through. And now we made a higher low here, and then we made a higher high from the previous ones. So right now we can say that SPY, at least on the 4-hour, is somewhat bullish because we made a higher low, and another higher low. How would you look at the last week of SPY on the 1 day? Well, we only really have these 5 candles, so it's kind of sideways. It's not really making any new highs or any new lows. Technically, yes, but not enough to be anything crazy. The weekly is trading inside bar, basically just chop. That's why all last week we kind of just hung around in this range here. So once we break out of this range, or looking at the weekly time frame, break out of this weekly high or weekly low, we can seem to get some direction again. Cool. Did that help? Yeah, you can use the daily and 4-hour and things like that to determine like a trend on the higher time frames. I personally like to use the weekly time frame. So last week we made a lower low, so we broke structure, right? And we broke structure over here as well, because we were making all these higher lows. And then finally we made a lower low and then another lower low here. So right now we're still bearish for the most part. So we got to see what happens next week. Are we going to make new highs and break this? Or are we going to just break this low and keep on heading down? Of course. Cool. What other questions do you guys have? For those who are coming in, welcome. Whatever questions you want to ask me, it could be whatever you're struggling with, whatever you want to learn, doesn't really matter. It's all accepted. Put it in the chat and we'll talk about it. And as I mentioned to those who were here in the beginning, nothing such as a stupid question. So please ask away. I use the Strat Strategy by Rob Smith. Shout out to him and rest in peace. It's a price action based strategy. It doesn't use any indicators per se. You don't even need the numbers on there. That's just if you want kind of guidance. But it's basically just price action. If price action says go long, we're going to go long. If it says go short, we're going to go short. If it's chopping or trading inside bar, we don't do anything. In the questionnaire, somebody asked as well how to get out of a trade. If you are in here, definitely let me know what you meant by that, because that's a little vague. Like, do you mean when to take profits, when to stop out? What exactly? Do you go based off a percent win or a dollar value? Neither. I personally think setting arbitrary targets and stop losses is a little silly because you'll be giving up money. So let's say, for example, Chris, I'll answer your question in a bit. Let me answer this one first. Let's go on let's use the daily as an example. Let's say we take this 212 bullish reversal and our stop loss is, I don't know, let's say halfway through this inside bar. So it's going to be about $4, give or take. And then let's say, for the sake of the conversation, my first target is going to be this wick high. Let's just say it's $7, just to make math easier. All right, let's say we get a contract, a SPY call. I'm not going to get a strike price. This is just keeping it simple for the example. As we know, we make whatever the delta is per every dollar that it goes in our favor, give or take. So let's say the delta is 50, and let's say the premium, what you paid for the contract, is let's say $500 or 5. The stop loss that we have here, which is $4 away, would make our contract what, $3? So -2, which will give us 3, and then our take profit would be, let's say, $7. So take profit would give us, what was that, 5 times 7, 35? 35? Yeah, I think 35. My math is correct. I already forgot to multiply. Yeah, 35. So 3.50, which will give us 8.50 at the first target. So using these numbers, let's say if you were aiming for, cool, I'm going to get into this trade and I'm going to get out once I hit $100 profit, which is only $2 in your favor, right? But by you just focusing on a dollar value, or let's say even a percent value, you're aiming for 20%, you left an additional $250 on the table because you were just focusing on, like a percentage value or a dollar value. Where I always say, and others that have taught me, if the chart got you in, the chart should be getting you out as well. Because even, let's say, if you just use a 20% stop loss, but on this trade the stop loss is 40%, you're getting yourself out early, and then it ends up going in your favor, right, and hitting all your targets. So you just have to adjust your contract or your dollar value of your position size to be in a comfortable spot of what you're willing to risk for the trade, right? I'm not going to get into a trade and say, I'm going to get out at -30%. I'm going to get into a trade and be like, all right, I'm going to put $1,000 on this trade, or let's say, I don't know, I put $1,000 in and I don't want to lose more than $300. So if I look at this over here, and if I'm losing $200 per contract, instead of using 1,000, I might use, let's say, maybe 700 and choose a different strike price that'll be a little cheaper. That way, it'll still stay within my $300 loss per trade, and I can let it go to targets and things like that. Is that making sense so far? Cool. So you always want to use the chart to tell you when to get out and when to take profit. Because again, if the chart is getting you in, it only makes sense to have the chart take you out as well. And of course, there's different, depending on the application that you use, you can either just do the math on the spot like I usually do before I even get into it, or there's like Thinkorswim has Analyze tab that allows you to analyze the contract. So when it hits a specific dollar on the stock, it'll let you know more or less how much you're going to make or lose on that position. The same thing for Webull. For whoever uses that, it'll have an options calculator, and they'll let you know at a specific stop price how much more or less the contract is going to be worth when it either hits a stop loss price or a take profit price. So you can have an idea of how much you're going to make, give or take. Cool. Chris asked, how do you use the 5-minute and the 15-minute strat together? I don't really know what that means, Chris. If you can elaborate, like, what do you mean exactly? Like how do I use them together in what way? Like, what setups do I look for, or what specifically? To enter plus the setups. Well, I don't really necessarily use the 5 and 15-minute chart together in maybe just for like maybe the 15-minute org retest setup. But besides that, let me bring up this chart over here. So when I'm trading, I have the 5-minute up here with usually with regular hours. If I'm on Thinkorswim, I'll use extended since my broader information is don't move around. But I have the 5-minute up on the top left. I have the 15-minute on the top right. On the bottom left, I have the 30-minute with extended data. And then I have the 1 hour with extended data. And then I'll mark off the 4-hour time frame, the high and the low. So I don't need to have that time frame up, just to save some trading real estate, as they would say. So I already know if we're above this price, 4 hours bullish, and if we're below that, 4 hours bearish. So I'll use the 15-minute for different setups, like the W setup, TTO setups for those who trade the strat, 15-minute org, things like that. And the 5-minute I'll use as well for W's and for TTOs. So each of my setups have, each of my time frames, I look for specific setups on them. So for example, there's a nice W that printed on the 5-minute on Wednesday, which was really nice. Basically, we're taking the first market structure change to the upside. Pretty much a double bottom for those who know chart patterns. Jack, when you say combining zones / levels, what do you mean? Do you mean like fair value gaps, supply and demand, support and resistance? What specifically? Also, Justin, set up 4 screens. You need to be paying for I'm paying for the plus version of TradingView. On the top right over here, it'll give you all the different setups that you can make. Again, if you don't know how to use TradingView fully, I recommend going to my channel and checking out just search up TradingView, and there'll be a 2024 one that I made last year that you can check out for all the features. Support and resistance. I don't really use support and resistance. I use broader information, which is basically our version of support and resistance. Pretty straightforward. We're just looking for actionable signals, which are hammers or reverse hammers or shooter candles off of specific levels. So let's say if I'm on the 15-minute, you could look for like 2-1 setups and things like that as well. If you want. I usually do anyway. Are there any here that I would have taken? Not really. Yeah. This is not one that I took, but a student sent this to me. So we have a nice broader information here. We have a 2-1 setup. There's 2 and then there's 1. And he took this 2 and 2 up off of this broader information. So as we already know, this is going to act as resistance when price is below it. So we can see when it came up here, it kept on rejecting off these levels, right? We have a rejection here, 2 rejections there. Price broke above that, started bouncing off of it, old resistance becomes new support. And then you just take a strat setup to take it off that level, 2 and 2 up. You get in right here, your stop loss could be down there if you wanted to. And then choose the previous candle highs as your target, and so on and so forth. So that's one way you can use broadening formations or levels for strat setups. What time frames do you use to get in and out? As you saw over here, the 5, 15 minute, 30 minute, and 1 hour. Depending what the setup is, I'm looking at that specific time frame. Did that make sense, Jack? I'm like combining different, well, broad informations anyway for the strat stuff. Sweet. Do I use any programs such as Unusual Whales to find what whales are doing? Maybe some big plays or insider info? Negative. I do not use that. I don't really swing trade based off of that. I just swing trade based off of price action. I used to use it a long time ago, but it just added more to the thinking process when I was trying to make trading simpler. I know people who use it. I just personally don't. Cool. What other questions do you guys have? Of course. Thank you for your questions, Spring. How do I search for trades? Do you mean like how do I search for setups? Well, I guess kind of the same thing, but how do I search like different tickers or scan different tickers? If that is the question, I use Thinkorswim. Usually, I really only use it when, like on Sundays, when I'm making the watch list to look for swing trades. So I just go to TOS, bring up the strat scanner, and then just search for like inside bars, double inside bar, weeks, days, things like that, inside bar months, and see what looks good. And then if it looks good, then I'll put it on the watch list for you guys to look at. Usually for the tickers that are on my watch list, though, that's just like permanent tickers. If there are tickers that you guys ever want me to add to the watch list, just let me know before. Generally before like 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, because I usually start making the watch list around 5:45, 6 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, I'll go on Thinkorswim. Supreme, what Discord are you in that you know me from? What made you use those tickers, and do they have the most volume? I would say they have a lot of volume, Justin. I used to only put like 2 or 3 tickers of like what I traded, but then people kept on asking me like, hey, can you put QQQ up there? Can you put SPY? Can you put Apple? Can you put NVIDIA? Can you put Tesla? Okay, you put the futures versions as well for future traders. Because I was kind of I guess, lazy to keep on taking them off and on, off and on, off and on every other day, I just kept them permanently on the watch list. So the main indices for like ETFs like SPY, RWM, QQQ, DIA, those are always going to be there. The futures versions, YM, ES, RTY, NQ, and then of course Tesla and NVIDIA. Tesla, I usually trade Tesla, usually on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The contracts have been a little more expensive recently, so I kind of avoid trading it on Mondays or Tuesday. Supreme, if you go to, I think it's in the, hold on, where did they put this? If you go to the options trading section, if you go to trading scripts and scanners, I believe there's a Google Docs scanner there that somebody made. There's also some Thinkorswim scanners that they have in there as well. I usually use the Thinkorswim ones. If you don't use Thinkorswim, you can use the other ones they have in there. And then I'll just hit search and look for different setups that might appear. So you can check that out in there. What do I think about earnings for Tesla? I don't really trade earnings. Based on their recent shenanigans, probably not going to go well. Less sales, all that good stuff. So probably not going to be good earnings. But again, I don't know. I don't have their balance sheet before they post it, unfortunately. I don't trade earnings either. So to me, it's just 50-50. And even then, you better hope you get the direction correctly, because even if the news is bad and they pump it up or just chop it sideways, you're going to get caught up in, what do you call it? You're going to get caught up in, what's the word? IV crush. There we go. Yeah, you're going to get IV crush. So if you're ever like, oh, but the options, the price went in my direction, but my options was down negative 50%. That's the IV crush that killed your contract premium. I tried the scanners today. Neither of them would share over to TOS. Hey guy, where do you know, what Discord do you know me from? For those in 100K's group, in the Strat University, look at, or actually, let me see if I can post it in the options section. For those in 100K's group, if you look at the trading scripts and scanners, I just posted the PDF of the TOS Strat scanners in there that you can check out. Jimmy, it's not a link that you would click on. It's a script that you would import. So you need the desktop version. Maybe the web version. I'm not sure. I've only ever used the desktop version. But if you use like the mobile app, you're not going to see that option on those. So you need to set it up on the desktop version first, and then you can see it on the other ones. Guy, if you're in Top Hats group, if you go to the Strat watch list channel that I post, I'm going to post the scanner in there as well. So you can check that out. If there's anyone from Divine that's in here, I'm also going to post it in my channel. Where is my channel? It's right in front of my face, and I can't find it. There we go. And if you're in my group, you will find it in the scripts and indicators section of the strat section. After you import it, let me actually bring up my Thinkorswim real quick so we can see this together. Give me 1 sec. I gotta log in. Also, shout out to the green Thinkorswim icon. For those who remember, I still have mine. I hope they never update it, even though it's blue now, but my desktop is still showing the old school one. Justin, I'll explain it in a few moments. Installing updates, as always. In the meantime, while I wait for this to install, I'll have to show you an example actually, which this works out that I'm bringing up Thinkorswim. Still installing updates. Well, in the meantime, while that's doing that, there we go. All right, let's log in. Let's hope that it actually works because they're doing maintenance on the weekends, which usually breaks some things. Also, welcome for those who are coming in. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up or the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. That is all I ask for having this free class for you guys. And it'll definitely help the algorithm tell people that my channel's good. Also, shout out to you guys. I'm at 3,906 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you. Let's see if we can get to 4,000 before the month is up. All right. There we go. Let's get rid of this. Oh, it looks like there's a huge W printing on IWM or YM on the 30-minute. Oh, we'll go back there in a bit. All right, Thinkorswim. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Should be able to see my Thinkorswim chart. Can you guys see it? Sweet. Hey, Gandalf, welcome. Haven't seen you in a bit. All right, so when you copy one of those links in the PDF that I posted, you're gonna go to Open Shared Item. You can paste it in here, hit Preview, and then Import. After you do that, you're gonna go to the Scan tab, and then in the line item, add condition group, little fire icon, these little lines over here on the right side, you're gonna hit Load Scan Query. And it might have actually chopped it off from the side of the screen for whatever, which is weird. Maybe I can bring it in. That's weird. Anyway, load scan query, it's probably going to be under personal. I'm just gonna bring up the double inside 4 hour, and then I'm gonna hit scan. And it's gonna show me all double inside 4 hour setups. So apparently Tesla has a double inside on the 4 hour. Let's confirm it, because sometimes it throws out false signals. Hey, there we go. Tesla, double inside bar on the 4 hour. So now I have a setup that I can look for on Monday. So let's look for some more. Let's look for double inside weeks. If it takes more than like 30 seconds, there probably isn't anything. It'll just keep on spinning forever. So there probably isn't anything for double inside week. Shouldn't be taking that long. Let's look for inside weeks. So we have double A, inside week. What else we got? AMD has an inside week. Amazon has an inside week. So you can potentially look for those, look at those for some swings. I'll probably add it to the watch list tomorrow. But yeah, that's pretty much how the scanner works and how I look for my setups. In the trade section, to kind of tell you about IV Crush, Justin, let's look at Tesla. And let's look for this week's expiration and implied volatility, that's IV. So as we know, where is this? So the IV, for every percent that we have, we add the Vega, right? So 1% equals $11 or $12, what have you. So what does this mean? Let's say, for the sake of the conversation, earnings comes out tomorrow. And hold on, let me load this up real quick. One moment. Cool. Anyway, going back to IV Crush. So essentially, for every percent of IV, we just add or subtract Vega, right? So if Tesla goes from 105% or 104%, whatever percentage you have here, and it goes to 100%, even if price stays the same, it's going to lose, let's say, 5 times 12, $60. It's going to lose $60 just off the IV going down, right? So IV tends to be a lot higher and it ramps up into earnings. And then after earnings passes, people aren't really expecting a big move anymore. So IV is going to plummet, right? IV might go from 100% to 50%. So let's say in this case, it goes down, what was that, 50 times 12? Pretty much $600. So this contract, even if it went in your favor, it'll lose $600 of value just because the IV got reduced. Meaning the stock price, looking at the delta, has to move minimum at least $12 in your favor to even break even on the contract. if IV goes to 50% from 100. So you better hope that it does, because if not, it'll be a sad day for you. Does that make sense for IV crush? Yep. And on my YouTube channel as well, in the trainings and walkthrough playlist, you'll see options class that I had. It's about like an hour and a half. I go over more in detail of like IV crush and all the other Greeks and things like that you can check out. So if you ever traded earnings and you're like, why did it kill my contract even though I made profit or it went in my favor? IV crush. Cool. We have 15 minutes left. What else do you guys want to go over? Whatever questions you guys have or want to ask, put it in the chat. We got 13 minutes left. I missed most of it. I was out. It will be on the channel, right? Sam, the same link that you use to join now is going to be the same link for the recording when we finish up. And for everybody else watching, the same link that you use to watch this, it's going to be the same link to watch the recording once we end the class. But while you guys have me, whatever questions you want to go over, let me know. And if there aren't any questions, in about 3 minutes, we can wrap up and enjoy our Saturday. No questions, no struggles. Everybody in here must be a master trader. I'll have you guys host the next class. All right, looks like there aren't any other questions. As always, appreciate you guys for coming out and asking your questions. For those who may have been new here, reminder, we have these every third weekend. So it's recently it's been every Saturday at 7 p.m. Sometimes it's on Sundays, but moving forward, unless I tell you guys otherwise, it's going to be Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can always go to the, actually, let me bring this up so we can see it together. Let's switch the screen. Might be a billion of me now. All right, so if you go to my YouTube channel and you go to playlists, it's going to be in the Let's Know with Advent series. This one and all the other ones that we've had are going to be in here. Justin, if you're still in here, in the trainings and walkthrough, the options chain and IV crush stuff is going to be here, and other things, and the trading view and other platforms as well. The strat material you'll find in the strat playlist, and there's other channels I have as well for trading psychology, building your system, setups, so on and so forth that you guys can check out. Other than that, last thing. When you go to the channel, usually this week I got caught up and completely forgot to set this up on Monday. But usually when you go to like the home section of the channel, it'll say like upcoming event, Let's Learn or trade recap or what have you. I just forgot to do it early this week and I did it yesterday. But you'll usually see it here and you can like hit notify and then it'll like email you or let you know ahead of time when we're having these. Anywho, thank you guys as always for asking questions, coming out. I love this stuff and helping you guys out. Enjoy your Saturday, and I will see you guys on the internet. Have a good night.